This is the GIS news for Friday, September 27th, 2024. I am Rakisha St. Louis. In the headlines, Grenada will host a second EU-Caribbean Global Gateway Conference on Sargassum next week, and the Ministry of Education distributes furniture to carriacou for Monday's school reopening. We'll have details to these stories and more when we return.
Are you a member of a youth-led organization in Grenada?
Are you ready to take your community, youth, or sports organization to the next level?
Then this video is for you. Community-based organizations are the backbone of our communities and parishes. They nurture our future leaders, preserve the heritage of Grenada, and enrich our social fabric.
Sadly, there has been a significant decrease in the number of community youth-led and other organizations in our communities.
Additionally, the existing organizations are...
Welcome back. Minister for Climate Resilience, the Environment and Renewable Energy, Honorable Kyrene James, says the time has come for the conversation on Sargassum to focus not on the social issue, but the opportunities that can bring benefits to small developing states. Grenada will host the second EU-Caribbean Global Gateway Conference on Sargassum, October 1st and 2nd at the Radisson Grenada Beach Resort, which is geared at addressing the growing environmental and socio-economic impact of Sargassum seaweed across the Caribbean basin. It also seeks to build regional capacity, attract investment, and promote innovation to transform this environmental challenge into sustainable economic opportunities. The Caribbean region continues to grapple with unprecedented amounts of sargassum washing ashore, impacting beaches, disrupting marine ecosystems, and threatening key economic sectors, particularly tourism and fisheries. Minister James is optimistic that the experts and researchers can provide a way forward for sargassum.
It affects our tourism, it affects our trade, our fisheries sector, our agricultural sector. So what we want to do is to bring international, regional, and local experts and scientists, policymakers, as well as investors who have been doing research on this growing issue to see how best we can bring all of those like-minded persons in to ensure that we come up with a way forward, collaborative way forward as to how we would deal with that. So Grenada, through the Office of the Prime Minister, on the margins of the 4th Conference for Small Island Developing States in May, had agreed with the EU to host the second conference, so it's the second of its kind. It will be a 2-day event, so there will be a high-level event. We are expecting the Secretary General of CARICOM. We're also expecting the Director General of the OACS, Prime Ministers, other ministers, as well as advisors and ambassadors to come in. There is a delegation coming in from the European Union as well. So it's a conversation that I believe would bring, as I mentioned, all of the key players in one space. And what better island in the Caribbean than Grenada to have this, fund and constructive and transformative discussions.
The conference, she says, presents the opportunity for small island developing states to formulate a unified approach to maximize on investments and benefits.
We would come up with a unified approach to dealing with the sargassum. What is currently existing now within the small island states is that most countries, they are dealing with it on their own. So they would have found their niche, might have used the research from UE and other international organizations to gather as to what we can do with it. Some say we could use it as fertilizers, others say we shouldn't because the chemical components in it is too high for our consumption. So instead of, trying to meet the economies of scale, in which we won't if we go individually, we want this to be the ground where we collaborate on this issue, where we can build that economies of scale and really and truly be a force to be reckoned with, and not see sargassum as a climate issue, which it really is, but to see it as an opportunity for us to leverage the opportunities that's there. And I know that before the ending of the year, we would get towards crafting a narrative and crafting a document that we can use schools for that collaborative approach and to leverage the opportunities.
The conference will generate a comprehensive conversation to understand the building blocks of a sustainable value chain, research and innovation, enabling environment and transformation. It will explore the latest on research, monitoring and forecasting, prevention and containment, collection and harvesting, treatment, use and disposal of sargassum biomass. It will be held under the theme Turning the Tide, Sustainable Practices and Economic Opportunities for Sargassum in the Caribbean Basin. The Ministry of Education sent a shipment of furniture and school supplies to Carriacou and Petit Martinique on Wednesday, September 25th, in preparation for the reopening of schools on Monday. Minister for Education Honorable David Andrew and other ministry officials are on island to distribute the furniture. The restart of schools on the Sister Isles was announced by Minister for Education, Senator the Honorable David Andrew, during a press conference on Tuesday, September 17th, which was held at the Parliament building at Mount Weldale. The delay in reopening of schools followed devastation caused by Hurricane Beryl, which destroyed the Sister Isles on July 1st. Senator Andrew said that each school will have its varying adaptations based on their unique situation.
All the schools will be open with varying degrees of adjustments, adaptations, and nuances based on the state of the repairs taking place at the various schools. But all of the schools we anticipate will be open. We are assured that all of the major areas that are necessary for the operation of schools will be available, will be accessible. We can go into detail, if necessary, to talk about each school and where the reconstruction or refurbishment work is, but I'll spare us that detail only to say that the visit did leave us very confident with the contractors and the principals that the schools would be ready and the major functional areas would be available for the operation of schools.
The more impacted schools like Dover Government, which was destroyed, and Mount Pleasant Government School will be accommodated in tents donated by the United Nations International Children and Emergency Fund, UNICEF. Students in Carriacou and Petit Martinique will be back to school on Monday, September 30th. It's time to prioritize mental health in the workplace, the theme under which Mental Health Awareness Day 2024 will be commemorated from October 1st. World Mental Health Day, celebrated on October 10th, is set aside to build awareness and advocacy against social stigma and for global mental health education and awareness. This year, the focus for the psychosocial unit within the Ministry of Social and Community Development is to foster a work environment where the mental health of the workers are prioritized. Head of the psychosocial unit, Mrs. Kizzy Matthew Clarence, emphasized that a mentally healthy worker augurs well for the workplace productivity.
How can we foster a culture where it's important, where we can talk about mental health, where we can end the stigma in our workplaces around mental health? And how can we foster an environment where the mental health of our workers are sometimes placed on, the forefront? Because when it comes to mental health, we're talking about the individual's ability to cope with stressors, function well, and is able to, contribute to its individual and family functioning. And mental health is so very crucial because as we look around in our society, we have been seeing that many persons are struggling with mental illness. And sometimes when we think of mental illness, we think about they. But mental health involves all of us that do indeed need to come on board to just embrace that once we're individuals, that our mental health should be top priority.
A mental health symposium will be held at the Grenada Trade Center Annex on Tuesday, October 8th from 9 a.m. Matthew Clarence outlined some of the activities to be held to observe the day.
We are going to begin with church service because, again, mental health involves spirituality. So we are going to begin with our church service. We are going to be collaborating with the Desk of the Elderly to do depression and anxiety screenings because it's so important that you're able to know your numbers and to know where you are mentally. So with screenings, which will take place in the community of Corinth, we are also going to be hosting a screening at the ministerial complex to just allow workers to have a chat with us, come in, check your numbers, and it's also open to the general public. This year, for the first time, we are going to host a mental health symposium targeting persons from various workplaces. So not just government workplaces, some private workplaces, our nurses or doctors, guidance counselors, mental health professionals, to just bring us together to do a nice activity, just talking about a few topics important in mental health, as chronic illness and mental health, men in mental health, and mental health in the workplace. And for that symposium also, it's going to include a self-care and action session because so many times we talk self-care and we don't do self-care. And we want to be able to encourage our workers to do things that help us relax. And we're not just talking about physical self-care, which may include some relaxation activity or some stress relieving activity, but also to look after yourself spiritually and mentally and the various dimensions of self-care, which also includes connecting with others. And with that also there would be some community and church interventions and just various ways to reach people to help them to know the importance of mental health, stress management, and all of the issues that they might be facing with. On the 11th of October, there is an activity that's open to the public, which is our music lunch hour that normally takes place in front of the complex. We will be bringing in Fahrenheit Band this year. Come relax with us. Come just chill with us. We will be partnering with Nash and Jeremiah and some of the companies to just help persons to know that, hey, your mental health is very important.
The unit is available to provide support to members of the public and workers within the public service.
If you're struggling, if you're noticing trouble sleeping, maybe sleeping too much, not sleeping at all, changes in appetite, personality, maybe you're feeling hopeless, maybe there is a lot of pessimistic where you think that things are not going to work out for you, maybe you're having trouble concentrating, or you're just noticing so many different changes, reach out to us. There is help available that you can contact us at 440-2269. And we will do our best to have counselors available. We do offer confidential spaces where we can help you deal with whatever issue. It can be anxiety, depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, grief and loss, whatever it is, you can reach out to us.
This is the GIS News. When we return, tourism officials discuss recovery and resilience to commemorate World Tourism Day.
Welcome to Pure Grenada, the Spice Isle of the Caribbean. On October 1st and 2nd, the government of Grenada will host the 2nd annual European Union Caribbean Tourism Conference. We are excited to welcome governments, entrepreneurs, investors, scientists, and financial institutions from across the Caribbean and Europe. Together, we'll explore how to turn this growing environmental and economic challenge into new opportunities for our communities. Grenada is proud to be the hub where experiences are shared, innovative solutions are explored, investments are mobilized, and regional collaboration is strengthened to tackle this issue together. The need for viable solutions is undeniable, and it demands innovative approaches to transform sargassum from waste into a valuable resource. Together, let's explore sustainable practices and exciting investment opportunities around sargassum in the Caribbean Basin, where challenges can pave the way for incredible new ventures. Join us as we work to turn the tide.
For climate change, what is Grenada going to experience? Going to experience water shortage. It's going to experience, particularly after storms, hurricanes, the Nawasa system is going to break down, and you will need water in between. Rainwater harvesting could help. So rainwater harvesting is not only about getting water for drinking or for use, it is also about minimizing flooding and flood control.
Welcome back. Grenada's Tourism Minister, Honorable Adrian Thomas, joined the Caribbean tourism officials virtually to commemorate World Tourism Day on Friday, September 27th. Minister Thomas, during his presentation, highlighted some of the best practices and lessons learned within the tourism sector during and after the passage of Hurricane Beryl. Latest statistics from the Grenada Tourism Authority indicate that Grenada welcomed a total of 138,212 stayover visitors for the period January to August 2024, compared to 118,954 in 2023, an increase of 16%. For all visitor categories, which includes cruise, stayover, yachting, and some day visitors, there was an increase of 4% for the same period, with a total of 347,252 tourists visiting in 2024 compared to 333,648 in 2023. This upward trajectory is expected to continue towards the end of 2024. He's optimistic that the industry will thrive and continue to be the lifeline of the recovery of islands post-Hurricane Beryl.
Preparedness is key. You got to be proactive in terms of disaster planning. You got to make sure that the people get the information, the people are cooperating, and the people they know exactly what to do. And this can only come from the administration. It can only come from the leadership in the country. Diversification of the tourism economy by having a wider range of tourism offering. This cannot be overemphasized. It was very important that Grenada, the mainland, did not get the kind of damage that Carriacou and Petit Martinique got, so that Grenada was being used and used as the port that would get the stuff from the international community, the regional community, and obviously channel it to Carriacou and Petit Martinique. So this was a plus. Had both islands, or the mainland and our sisters and brothers in the other islands, if all of us were in the same boat or got the same level of damage, it would have been very much more challenging. So diversification is very key. And while the tourism sites and destinations in Carriacou and Petit Martinique are badly affected, Grenada in itself is up and running, and we are quite grateful for that. Effective management requires collaboration across the sector. We have been meeting with the hoteliers, we have been meeting with the taxi association, the restaurants, the people involved in the tourism sector, which is so key in terms of getting ourselves back up and running. And this we have been able to do quite successfully and nicely. That in itself, as a second bullet point here, I will say that it says that the Prime Minister, Dick Mitchell, proactive role in managing the disaster resulted in swift decision making. And this was so important. From the time we won Hurricane Watch, the Prime Minister was in the engine room, working closely with NAGMA, or the disaster management organization agency. He was there during the storm, he was there after the storm, and for the first couple of weeks he was in every press conference, talking to the people, communicating with them. This was so important, and this is, in going forward, we believe this will be the right approach to reality.
Secretary General and Chief Executive Officer of the Caribbean Tourism Authority, Donna Regis Prosper, says tourism remains the driver for positive change in the Caribbean and beyond. She commended tourism ministers and governments on efforts to quickly resuscitate their individual sectors.
Whether we're discussing the impact of natural disasters like Hurricane Beryl, or the need for gender equality or regenerative tourism, today's conversations will highlight the power of collaboration and the importance of ensuring that tourism remains a driver for positive change in the Caribbean and beyond. Your collective insights will undoubtedly help us and deepen our understanding of how tourism can be a catalyst for peace and resilience, especially in a region like ours that is so vulnerable to external challenges.
Newly appointed Chairman and Tourism Minister in Barbados, Ian Gooding Edgehill, encouraged the Caribbean countries to integrate peace and build strategies into crisis response efforts to strengthen their resilience. He emphasized that tourism is critical to helping countries recover and rebuild.
It provides employment, it generates much needed foreign exchange, it supports national and regional prosperity. It also opens minds. The Caribbean has faced significant challenges due to natural disasters, pandemics, and the looming threat of climate change. Tourism is all critical to helping us recover and to rebuild. And by integrating peace-building strategies into our crisis response and recovery efforts, we can strengthen our resilience, allowing the region to thrive even in the face of adversity. And of course, within a region that sometimes have its share of hurricanes, unfortunately so, this could not even be more emphasized at this point in time.
Continuing the news, the Ministry of Agriculture, Lands, Forestry and Marine Resources has launched an innovative new project aimed at enhancing agricultural production across the country, focusing on vegetable farming, sea moss production, apiculture, and agro-processing led by women. Titled Gender-Responsive and Climate-Smart Agriculture and Food Systems in the Caribbean, the project seeks to empower women and youth to build climate resilience in agriculture. The official launch took place at the Radisson Grenada Beach Resort, attracting a diverse group of agro-processors for an inception workshop. The workshop featured presentations from experts who shared insights on Grenada's vegetable production, the sea moss and apiculture value chains, and various agro-processing opportunities. It aims to build capacity, promote climate-smart technologies, strengthen market linkages, and address gender-related challenges in agriculture. Funded by Canada to the tune of $7.3 million and implemented by the FAO, this initiative is set to run over the next 4 years. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, Isaac Bagwan, welcomes the support from FAO and Canada for the support to small farmers, women, and youth. He explains the prospective outcomes of the project.
This project seeks to increase the use of climate change technology in agriculture and is well aligned with the current programs being implemented by the government of Grenada. In Grenada, the project will support ongoing initiatives that build capacity of women and youth, such as the production of vegetables under open and protected structures, beekeeping, fisheries, sea moss farming, as well as certain other aspects of agro-processing. Training in production management and the introduction of tools like digital sensors in greenhouse will improve the management of crops. Agro-processors will also have an opportunity to improve their products in consultation with the Grenada Produce Chemist Lab and the Grenada Bureau of Standards. Improving market readiness through improved packaging or bulk purchasing are areas that the project would consider for support.
FAO Sub-Regional Coordinator Dr. Renata Clark explains that the project gives FAO an opportunity to be building on ongoing initiatives in Grenada for women and youth to become efficient actors in the value chain.
Through this project, we can also introduce tools, including renewable energy where possible, and improve production and productivity of women and youth in particular. Through this project, we will be engaging women and youth to build their capacity to produce more efficiently, to work together in farmer organizations for some activities, such as buying inputs like packaging and labeling. Accessing finance is a continuous bottleneck, and our interventions will build the capacity of women and youth to access credit and finance where possible. This work is designed based on country ownership. This is fundamental in the project. We need all value chain actors working together to successfully improve the livelihood of all value chain operators.
This project puts Canada on the path towards further assisting the CARICOM mandate to reduce the food import bill by 25% by 2025. Development Counselor and Head of Cooperation for the Eastern Caribbean for the Canada High Commission is Abichi Asefa.
This project is part of Canada's commitment to support CARICOM's ambitions to increase the resilience of the region's food system to disasters and other shocks by augmenting domestic food production through climate-smart agricultural practices and, of course, reducing dependency on food import. For Canada, the GCIF Caribbean project also represents an important commitment to our own feminist international assistance policy, as the project falls at the intersection between women's rights and empowerment, inclusive growth, and climate action.
By 2028, the initiative hopes to have 4,800 farmers adopting climate-smart practices, 2,400 women and 960 youth receiving training in business modeling and financial planning, 24 investment proposals developed to enhance production and post-harvesting management, 16 agro-processing facilities assessed and upgraded, and 24 value chains strengthened with market-ready products. This project is being implemented in 7 other Caribbean countries. The desk of the elderly within the Ministry of Social and Community Development will focus on a change in mindset from youth into adulthood during its observance of International Day of Older People on October 1st. The department will launch its 0 to 60 program as part of its commemoration, which aims to change the way young people think about their lives before adulthood to avoid having elder citizens without a plan. Acting Chief Social Development Officer Chikal Courtney told GIS the program will be held quarterly throughout Grenada.
We are very excited about the launch of this program, and I'll tell you why. Because although we are observing Month of Older Persons, the target for this program is youth, and you may ask us why. So over the years, what we have realized as a ministry is that most of the vulnerable older people come into the ministry for assistance. When you do your investigation, we realize that the majority of them have not planned during the younger productive years. They did not plan for the older years. And as such, they're at a stage now in their life where they are unable to provide for themselves financially. They may have housing challenges. They may be experiencing poor health. And we thought it was wise to develop a program to change and have a generational change in mindset so that in years to come, we would have better, more healthy older persons and more financially secure older persons, right? And that would cause a decrease in dependence on the resources of the state. But it will be held quarterly going forward in different parts of the island, targeting the youth. And we would have presentations from a financial institution speaking about financial planning. We would have a presentation from the Grenada Food and Nutrition Council, who would speak about diet and eating healthy aging. And then we'll also have presentation from Dr. Francis Martin, who, as we know, is an advocate for health and well-being. He would also provide a presentation. And one of the areas we're looking to target is men, young men, and their health. So these are the programs for the activities planned for Month of Older Persons.
International Day of Older People will be celebrated under the theme Aging with Dignity, the importance of strengthening care and support systems for older people worldwide. Our senior citizens must be celebrated as they have contributed and have built the foundation of many benefits being enjoyed to date.
So through the Desk of the Elderly in the Ministry of Social Development, we have planned a few activities to commemorate Month of Older Persons. We are collaborating with the Early Childhood Unit and the Psychosocial Support Unit to have a church service on Sunday, the 29th of September at the Grove Open Bible Church at 9:30 a.m. So we're asking the people of Grove to come out and have a worship with us as we open the month. We also have on October 1st, which is International Day of Older Persons, a health fair for persons 60 years and over at the Corinth Community Center. That will be held from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Following that, on the 15th and the 17th of October, we have visits to some of the geriatric homes in Grenada. To name a few, the Top Hill Home, who is now here in Grenada from Carriacou, the Charles Memorial Home, the St. Martin's Home, for example, where we have persons from Carriacou, older people, housed there.
The GIS News will return after the break.
Welcome to pure Grenada, the Spice Isle of the Caribbean. On October 1st and 2nd, the government of Grenada will host the second annual European Union Caribbean Sargassum Conference. We are excited to welcome governments, entrepreneurs, investors, scientists, and financial institutions from across the Caribbean and Europe. Together, we'll explore how to turn this growing environmental and economic challenge into new opportunities for our communities. Grenada is proud to be the hub where experiences are shared, innovative solutions are explored, investments are mobilized, and regional collaboration is strengthened to tackle this issue together. The need for viable solutions is undeniable, and it demands innovative approaches to transform sargassum from waste into a valuable resource. Together, let's explore sustainable practices and exciting investment opportunities around sargassum in the Caribbean Basin, where challenges can pave the way for incredible new ventures. Join us as we work to turn the tide.
Well, at this time of the year, we do expect rainfall events because we will be affected by systems such as tropical wave passing through. We will have the presence of the ITCZ in our area, and we might even have tropical cyclones, whether they're depression or storm. Okay? So what we would expect is we will have big rain events. Okay? No matter how dry or wet the season is, we are going to have big rain events. So therefore it is important for every household to have some bit of water stored, because these big rain events normally put us pressure on the water system. For example, we have landslides that will take away pipes. We may have heavy rainfall that would block the dams and so forth, and so your regular supply will be interrupted. So it is so important for every household to have the recommended 3 days storage of potable water in the household for such eventualities.
If there's one thing we know for sure, life is an unpredictable journey, full of twists and turns, but no matter where it takes you, the National Insurance Scheme is here, ready to support you every step of the way. Sickness benefits ensures that you can focus on recovery, not financial stress. Maternity allowance and grant provides essential support to start your beautiful journey of parenthood. The unemployment benefits act as a safety net, giving you peace of mind during challenging times. Employment injuries can be daunting, but NIS provides comprehensive coverage, including injury benefit, medical expenses, disablement, and death benefits. At NIS, your well-being is priority. Now you can face challenges confidently, knowing that support is just a claim away. Contact us today to find out more about the range of benefits, or visit our website at www.nisgrenada.org.
Welcome back. Sporting federations and associations attended a workshop on Thursday to formulate a national sports and physical activity calendar. The first workshop was held in 2023. The National Sports Council Act mandates a national sports and physical activity calendar to guide activities throughout the year. Public Relations Officer Karine Maureen Alexander has more in this report.
It is required, according to the National Sports Council Act, that a national sports and physical activity calendar must be published no later than 1 month prior to the start of each calendar year. In this regard, sporting federations and associations are required to submit their event schedule with budgets and the various costs associated with their operations to the Ministry of Sports ahead of its budget planning for the upcoming year. The National Sports Council Secretariat on Thursday hosted its second workshop to develop the calendar. The first was held last year. Sporting federations and associations in attendance at the workshop were reminded of their requirements and how important it is to submit their plans ahead of time. Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Youth and Sports, Senator the Honourable Civil Francis, expressed her excitement in being part of the process in her new role at the Ministry of Youth and Sports, emphasizing the need for the federations and associations to work closely with the ministry for the improvement and promotion of sports on all levels. She also stressed that their timely contributions to the publishing of the National Sports Calendar builds their credibility.
In terms of resource allocation, again, we're only able to allocate those resources if we know. And if we don't know, then we can't help. It also helps us as a government to achieve some of the target goals that we set for every ministry. So that is also imperative. But most importantly, seeing a federation, an organization, a committee submit a calendar of events shows that you, one, take your organization seriously. It shows that you're disciplined. It shows that you have your organization or your federation interest at heart and you want to see it succeed. To me, seeing a calendar of events from any one of you, that is what it shows me, right? It means that you have vision. It means that you know what you're about and where you want your organization or your federation to be.
Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Sports, Kim Frederick, says adhering to the early submission would serve for better coordination of sporting events and more support from the Ministry of Sports.
The sporting calendar must reflect the events and activities of the federations, associations, and other relevant bodies. As a consequence, it must be prepared with the input of the organizations. I am very pleased, therefore, that you are here today. This shows that you understand the importance of your role in the process of developing the sports calendar. Having the various organizations involved in the process will ensure that sporting events are coordinated. It will also aid in the planning process of the Ministry of Youth and Sports regarding the use of its limited human resources and for financial and other support when required. There have been instances where more than one organization would make requests for the use of assets at the same time, and given the limited resources of the ministry, it is always a challenge to satisfy all the needs. As a ministry, we are committed to providing the support to you. However, you have to help us so that we can serve you better.
General Secretary of the Olympics Committee and former Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Sports, Vida Bruno Victor, challenged those in attendance to be abreast with what is happening with their international counterparts, to improve their planning, to get the support that is needed, and to be responsible.
So the role of the ministry is an important one. And as I said before, the facilities, the equipment, and all of that. We have as many. We still need to look around for some more facilities and to help the developers. What about the association? What is your role? What is your role? Half the times you don't coordinate with your international body, and that is not a good thing. So you need to coordinate with them. You need to know what's happening, and you need to know on time. And I'm annoyed when you come and tell me I just get a letter. You don't just get no letter. You need to know. So you write and you find out what is happening. Here we are, 1 month before the start of the calendar year. We must provide a calendar of events that must show that we have to showcase so everybody could know what's happening. How would you do that if you don't know what's happening? If you don't know what's happening with the international body, and the association must be responsible for the development of the sport under their charge. The ministry do help you in some of the areas that you have those in, that they have the sport in. They help you there also. But you need to do that. You need to find out, you need to support, and you need to love the athletes under your care. You need to give them some strict love. You must be strict with them, but you must care for them. You must make them know that you care, but you must also be very strict with them. because you must not allow them not to come to things on time. It's not good. You must not allow those things, but you must care for them.
The attendees reported on their achievements and gave recommendations on moving forward with their individual sporting disciplines. They also took the opportunity to network among the respective organizations for added support. I am Karen Maureen Alexander reporting.
Thank you, Karine. This is the GIS News. When we return, we'll join Leslie and Johnson for the sports highlights.
The Ministry of Youth and Sports wrapped up its parish-level youth parliament sessions in May and June 2024, where passionate young leaders from across Grenada boldly voiced their concerns and offered insightful recommendations on pressing issues, from capital punishment and education reform to firearm amnesty. These 2024 youth parliamentarians demonstrated sharp research, eloquent delivery, and a readiness to lead. They embodied the vibrant future of Grenada, stepping confidently into the roles of tomorrow's decision makers. The Division of Youth is getting ready for the second phase of the National Youth Parliament Program 2024, the National Youth Elections. Here are your candidates who will be campaigning to become National Youth Parliamentarians. St. Andrew Southeast, Amanda Japal George and Kevon George. St. Andrew Southwest, Zadie Barry and Cameron Sensier. St. Andrew Northeast, Emerson Calist and Kerrian Marast. St. Andrew Northwest, Derricka Samuel and Joshua Andel. St. Patrick East, Asha McEwen Sylvester, Shanida Shade. St. Patrick West, Zinzi Noel and Sean Williams. St. Mark, Kiel Cyrus, Akim Phillip and Tiwana Scott. St. John, Sashona McVean and Elon James. St. David, Antonia Kutain and Tarek Miller. St. George Northeast, Kwesi Pope and Akim Williams. St. George Northwest, Jamal Mitchell and Angela Bowen. St. George South, Giovanna Mark and Jonathan Mitchell. St. George Southeast, Symphony Lord and Vanik Lewis. And the Tongue of St. George, Ray Maya Griffith and Melissa Julian. The National Youth Parliamentarians will be enrolled into the program for 2 years, in which they will be engaged in continuous leadership training. They will participate in regular national youth parliamentary debates. They will receive mentorship and will have access to the Division of Youth and Sports Community Support Grant Fund to assist with their various community initiatives. Young people, the countdown is on for your voices to be heard as to who you will want represent your constituency in the National Youth Parliament. Mark the date, December 5th. To vote, you must meet the following criteria. Must be between the ages of 16 to 35. Must be a Grenadian national and must submit a copy of a valid identification card or document. Registration ends November 22nd. For more information, please contact the Ministry of Youth and Sports on 440-6917 or email ascoy@youth.gov.gd.
Prepare for hurricane. Make sure you have your radio and your batteries too. Waterproof flashlight candles will do. Tin stuff, garbage bag, first aid kit. Come on people, make sure you have it. Clean water in a container and a hurricane plan. Hear me no man.
Hurricane damage is beyond your control. Surviving the aftermath is up to you. Have a hurricane plan. It can save your life and your family too.
Prepare for hurricane. Your hair, prepare for hurricane.
Grenada is holding its own at the 4th ECCB International Netball Series at the Beauchejou Indoor Facility in Gros-Islet, St. Lucia. This country has recorded victory in matches against Dominica, 55 points to 30, the Cayman Islands, 47-35, and in one of the highest scoring matches, they defeated Anguilla 95-11. Other teams in the tournament are St. Lucia, Antigua and Barbuda, and St. Vincent. The action continues on Saturday and Sunday. A young Grenadian has been appointed as assistant men's basketball coach at the Georgian College in Canada. K.U.D. Simmons, son of former Sports Minister Patrick Simmons, is one of 3 assistant coaches appointed to the team. Former Minister Simmons was also a national basketball player. The Ministry of Sports Blue Bubbles National Cross Country continues this weekend. The race begins at the National Stadium at 3 p.m. Transportation will be provided for competitors from the outer parishes, with the pickup points at MacDonald College, the Deluxe Cinema Car Park in Grenville, and Lassages. The transport leaves at 1 p.m. and the race begins at 3 p.m. Minister for Youth and Sports, the Honorable Delma Thomas, says the ministry has ordered and received 10 chess boards to assist with the further development of the sport in the country. She was speaking at the welcome home ceremony for Grenada's participants at the recently concluded Chess Olympiad in Budapest, Hungary. The ceremony was held at the Maurice Bishop International Airport. Minister Thomas said the team has made all of Grenada proud.
The entire team, your dedication, resilience, and sportsmanship have not only made us proud, but have also showcased the spirit of Grenada on an international stage. Competing against some of the best minds in the world is no small feat, and each of you rose to the challenge with grace and tenacity. Your performances reflect not just your skills, but the countless hours of practice and commitment you have poured into the sport. Chess is more than just a game. It's a testament to strategy, patience, and foresight. It teaches us valuable lessons about thinking ahead and adapting to new situations. Each move you made in Budapest was a reflection of your hard work and determination. As you faced tough opponents, you represented our nation with honor, demonstrating that Grenada is a force to be reckoned with in the world of chess.
The president of the Grenada Olympic Committee, Bernard Wilson, also commended the team for its performance in Budapest.
You gave of your best. You gave of your best. And your best was fantastic. Your best, considering that the club is, the federation is 4 years old, and you're taking part in the Olympiad. And you have here Mr. Gabriel, who's a FIDE master. Fantastic, fantastic. Who can ask for more? We can. We want, know that you've given us. We want more. We want to see you go from height to height and get to the very top. We only have 100,000 people. But we have gold medal in Olympics, we have bronze medals in Olympics, and we beat a lot of countries with 100 times our population in Olympics. And you can do the same. You have shown that you're capable.
And finally, in GFA Premier League matches this weekend, on Saturday, Paradise FCI will meet Shamrock FC at 4 p.m. at Progress Park. In another match on Saturday, Queen's Park Rangers will face Hard Rock at Queen's Park. That match will also begin at 4 p.m. 3 matches will be contested on Sunday. At 4 p.m., Fontenoy United will meet Sab Spartans at Beauchéjou, and also at 4 p.m., FC Camahon will meet Monkrich at Queen's Park. The final match on Sunday begins at 6 p.m. between Hurricanes SC and St. John Sports at the Alston George Park. That's the GIS Evening Sports. I'm Leslie Ann Johnson.
Thank you, Ms. Johnson. Let's recap the top story. Grenada will host a second EU Caribbean Global Gateway Conference on Sargassum next week. And the Ministry of Education distributes furniture to carriacou for Monday's school reopening. On behalf of the entire news and production team, I am Rakisha St. Louis saying thank you for joining us. We are including new inclusive assessment strategies, new just everything that you could think about that is new, that is relevant for teachers to learn. These days we are having that in the curriculum. So you no longer have to go to a book and turn pages. You click a button and you get access to the curriculum. Not just for teachers anymore, children get access, parents, everybody involved in this education thing becomes easier for them. So we cater for everybody as we digitize this curriculum. So you get, for example, an inclusive assessment strategy that was not there before. Things that teachers can go to help each child at any level, that to cater for each child. They can assess that child's learning, so you'd find that there.
Well, one, it will be more colorful, so it will be more appealing. There will be more inclusive strategies and interactive. It will cater for all different learning styles.
When you say inclusive strategies, give me an example.
Well, the strategies, well, if you've been in a classroom well, I guess we all were in classroom, and I know it was a lot of talk and talk, right? So now you would get them to go out and do performance this stuff. So they would do projects, they would make stuff, they would write in their journal, or even though it's mathematics, they could write in their journal. And it is culturally oriented, so there are things that in the environment they could identify with. If you have a child that cannot read well, we will not just judge them by that, but they will still be able to perform well because of the inclusive assessment strategies.